phases of the moon. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to paint our block. Now I only gave you 3 paints. You should have blue, black, and white. You have a choice between blue or black for the background. I'm going to do a little mix of both of them. So I'm going to use some blue. As I'm using blue, add a little black into it so it almost turns navy. So you're going to paint your whole block. I'm going to let this dry for a couple minutes and then I'm going to come back and do a second coat. Your block, you could put that aside. Big paint smudge right there, put that aside and find your different phases of the moon. So it goes the round one in the center, the 2, and continuing on. So you could really do these anything that you'd like. I'm going to make them a light gray and then I'm actually going to use my finger to add some like craters into them. So I am just going to wash my brush, and on a plate or a cap or somewhere, I'm going to make a little light gray. And now you could keep these white, you could do them totally gray. I'm going to try and make a really light gray, and I'm going to give 1 coat on everything. So once I have 1 coat, now I'm going to go back. I'm actually going to finger paint. So I'm going to put a little white on my finger and like dab some white into this. If you have a sponge, you could also use a sponge. I'm going to dab a little white because it kind of gives it a little texture, makes it look cratery. In 1 or 2 spots, if you want, you could put a tiny bit of black on your finger, like a tiny bit, and put a little black into some areas. So there I have my full moon done. Next, I'm just going to add a little on. So my moons are finished. You could even make these all white. You could do whatever you'd like. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some stars in my sky. So I'm going to take my bigger brush. I'm going to put a little bit of water on it. Dry it off a bit. Then I'm going to dip it in a teeny bit of white. And then put a little water on that. Then take some of that water off. And I'm just going to put stars all over my background. So you could do this with a toothbrush. It's usually easier. I've already done that technique with you, so I wanted to do just a regular brush. So I'm just going to hold my brush, and then with one finger, you're just going to flick and put stars everywhere. So then dip. You just want your paint, to be a little bit watery. It makes it easier. If it's too watery, you'll get like water spots. That means dry off your brush a little. So I put some stars. I'm going to put some stars on top. I'm going to put like speckles on top of my moon and all that fun stuff as well. Alright, so now I'm going to let this all dry, and when it all dries, we're going to put it together. So my paint is mostly dry, so I kind of laid all the moons out. So not only is this like a celestial artwork, but it looks like a nice piece of abstract art. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to you could use any glue that you have, and I am just going to put some glue and glue my moons down. And a little bit of glue goes a long way. Could even use a glue stick if that's all you have in your house, though it does not work the best sometimes. So make sure everything is laid out, spaced nicely, and then you're going to let this dry, and then you have a little artwork that you could enjoy in your room. You either put it like this or like this. So I hope you guys had fun making this little moon, phases of the moon, a wood sign.